شكرا يا عفرة، صباح الخير لكم جميعا في هذه الجلسة اليوم الثاني لقمة المعرفة. هذه القمة في دورتها الثامنة، وهذا العام تحت شعار مدن المعرفة والثورة الصناعية الخامسة. جلستنا إذن بعنوان بناء مدن المعرفة معا، شراكة برنامج الأمم المتحدة الإنمائي ومؤسسة محمد بن راشد المكتوم للمعرفة نحو الثورة الصناعية الخامسة. هو عنوان شيق جدا، سنسبر فيه أغوار أفضل الممارسات والحلول المبتكرة لبناء مدن المعرفة المستدامة بمتحدثيها الوازنين في مجالات المعرفة. ستكون أكيد جلستنا فيها الكثير من الثراء والإفادة والمعطيات. إذن معنا سعادة جمال بن حويرب، دكتور هاني، دكتور أستاذ خالد عبد الشافي ودكتور هاني. سأبدأ معك أستاذ جمال. شو آخر تغريدة حطيتها أستاذ جمال؟ ما شاء الله عليك، دائما في الجلسات نخرج حتى نشوف هي التغريدات اللي وضعها أثناء الجلسة. مالتي تاسكينج.
لا، أنا بعثت للناس أنها تشاهد الجلسة. الآن المشاهدات الخارجية أكثر من الحضور.
ما شاء الله. طيب خلينا نبدأ أستاذ جمال ببناء مدن المعرفة. أكيد أنها تبدأ من اليوم أو حتى بدأت من أمس. خلينا منك أنت، ما هي مدن المعرفة ومن يمكن أن يساهم في بنائها؟ وأنا أعرف طبعاً أنه المؤسسة مع وشركائها أكيد سيساهمون في ذلك. ما هي مدن المعرفة؟
أولاً صباح الخير، وأحيي جميع الحضور في قمة المعرفة الثامنة التي تتوالى لخدمة العلم، خدمة المعرفة، خدمة الدول، ليس فقط في دولة الإمارات العربية المتحدة ولكن في جميع العالم، لأن هذا المؤشر الذي ينطلق من القمة، المؤشر العالمي الآن السابع، هو يقيس 133 دولة. مدن المعرفة قد يقول قائل أنها ألفاظ حديثة أو مصطلحات حديثة لأشياء لا يمكن أن تقاس، لا يمكن أن تعرف، لا يمكن أن نعرف مدى الأثر. الدول المتقدمة والدول المتخلفة.
صحيح.
فالدول المتقدمة مدنها متقدمة ومعرفية، والدول المتخلفة مدنها متخلفة، وهكذا. الحقيقة أن هناك معايير لمدن المعرفة. مثلا في 2020 هنا في قمة المعرفة اجتمع الخبراء مع برايس ووتر هاوس، الأستاذ لوران، وكان هناك مجموعة من خبراء العالم، وأقروا أن دبي في 2020 هي تمثل مدينة معرفية. إذن لماذا دبي في الوطن العربي تمثل مدينة معرفية؟ هل هي بسبب الأبراج؟ هل هو بسبب الأمن؟ هل هو بسبب الخدمات؟ هل بسبب الجامعات؟ هل بسبب التسهيلات؟ هل بسبب البنية التحتية الكبيرة؟ هل بسبب قوة الاتصالات وسرعة
ما هي
الوصول؟ كل هذه المعايير وغيرها هي التي تؤدي إلى ما نسميه اليوم بمدينة المعرفية. وأي مدينة في العالم، سواء في الوطن العربي أو في خارج الوطن العربي، تجعل دبي نموذجا لها. لا نقول لوكسمبورغ، ولا نقول أمستردام، ولا نقول مانشستر، ولا نقول طوكيو. دبي هذه صحراء، أنا نشأت فيها، كانت صحراء، بيوتات في بر دبي وبعض البيوت والأسواق في منطقة ديرة. أنا نشأت في صحراء ونخيل. فلما مرت الأيام والشهور والسنين بقيادة ثابتة، الشيخ راشد رحمة الله عليه، ثم الشيخ مكتوم، والآن سيدي صاحب السمو الشيخ محمد بن راشد نائب رئيس الدولة، رئيس مجلس وزراء حاكم دبي رعاه الله. وهذا الرجل يستحق منا الثناء العظيم.
نعم.
كيف حول هذه المنطقة إلى منطقة ليس لها مثيل في العالم. لا يوجد هناك مستحيل
طبعا.
فالمدينة المعرفية إذا اجتمعت فيها البنى التحتية والكوادر والمهارات والكفاءات،
صحيح،
ووجود رؤية واتصالات صحيحة وتعليم صحيح ونظم صحية قوية، فإن أي مدينة سواء كانت جيبوتي أو سواء كانت
مدينة معرفية،
أي مدينة في العالم سواء في الوطن العربي والإسلامي والعالمي سينتقل فورا، ستنتقل إلى مدينة معرفية.
طيب، سأعود إليك لأنه أيضا أود أن أعرف المنظمة وما الأنشطة التي تقوم بها والمؤسسة محمد بن راشد المكتوم للمعرفة، وأيضا المبادرات وكذلك الجوائز التي حظيتم عليها. أستاذ خالد، نحن نتحدث عن مدن المعرفة. يقول الأستاذ سعد جمال أنه ربما المصطلح جديد، ولكن كنا أيضا نستغرب من مصطلح مثلا سمارت سيتي، المدينة الذكية. كنا أيضا نستغرب من المدينة المستدامة، sustainable city. احنا صاروا موجودين أيضا. ما الذي يمكن أن يعرف مدينة أن تكون مدينة معرفية أو مدينة معرفة من غيرها من المدن العادية التي نعرفها الآن؟
شكرا وصباح الخير للجميع. أنا بتقديري يعني ما يمكن أن يعرف المدينة بوصفها مدينة معرفة هو شيئين. يعني الشيء الأول هي البنية التحتية.
نعم.
وهي مهمة جدا، من اتصالات، من جامعات، من ما تم التفضل فيه من قبل الأستاذ جمال، زائد طبعا العنصر الإنساني.
نعم.
يعني التكنولوجيا بدون الإنسان لا تساوي شيء، وهذا ما نطلق عليه الآن الثورة الصناعية الخامسة. الرابعة كانت موضوع التكنولوجيا، بس الآن إذا التكنولوجيا والذكاء الاصطناعي لم يوضع في خدمة الإنسان وفي خدمة التنمية المستدامة ما له فايدة. وهذا استنتاج مهم جدا.
نعم.
الإنسان والتكنولوجيا، وبالتالي المدن التي نتكلم عنها هي التي تملك العنصرين، البنية التحتية والإنسان الذي يستخدم هذه البنية
مع التوازن. أظن أنه مهم.
وطبعا تأثير ذلك كله على رفاهية الإنسان، لأنه بالنهاية ما نسعى إليه هو رفاهية الإنسان. صحيح. رفاهية الفرد من صحة وتعليم ورفاهية إلى آخره.
نعم. دكتور هاني، ما هو مفهومك للمدن المعرفية؟ من هي يمكن أن نطلق عليها أنها مدينة معرفة؟
صباح الخير الحضور الكريم. يمكن أستاذ جمال وخالد ذكروا معظم العناصر. أنا هتطرق على العنصر الاقتصادي، كيف نربط ما بين مدن المعرفة والعناصر أو النظم الاقتصادية الحالية. من المتعارف عليه الآن أن النظم الاقتصادية الثابت فيها هو التغير، وبالتالي مدن المعرفة يجب أن تتوافق وتتلائم مع هذا النوع من الاقتصادات اللي احنا دلوقتي بنسميها اقتصادات المعرفة. اقتصادات المعرفة بتنقل النظم من الشروط المادية أو المكونات المادية والقيمة الكبيرة ليها للقيمة للمكونات المعرفية اللي بيدخل فيها الخبرات البشرية اللي ذكرها خالد، وكيفية إن إحنا تبادل الخبرات داخل المدن وتبادل الخبرات ما بين المدن بعضها وبعض. حتى في مدن المعرفة كان في السابق العلاقة ما بين السلع والخدمات. كانت الشركات والمصانع كانت تهتم بالسلع وبتقدم الخدمات مجانية مع السلع. حالياً مدن المعرفة هي بتقدم الخدمات تقدم السلع مجانا في مقابل ان الافراد يشتروا هذه الخدمات. ومثال عليها شركات الانترنت، شركات التليفون المحمول والموبايل، انها ممكن تديك موبايل مجانا في مقابل انت تشترك في خدماتها. وبالتالي مدن المعرفة هي مدن بيتغير فيها النظم الاقتصادية، وأيضا بتهتم أكتر بعنصر المعرفة أكتر من العنصر المادي اللي هو مكون لأحد مكونات الإنتاج.
أستاذ جمال، اهتممتم بالمعرفة على مدى سنوات، كان لكم الكثير من المبادرات، أخيرها سنتحدث عنها بعد قليل، مهارات المستقبل الجميع، ولكن أخذتم على عاتقكم أيضا أن تعطوا للعالم كله مثل داشبورد، يعني لوحة تحكم كاملة حول مؤشر المعرفة. كنتم أيضا تم تكريمكم في على هامش الجمعية العامة للأمم المتحدة باعتباركم أيضا شريك رئيس معرفي عالمي. وبمناسبة هذه الشراكة بينكم وبين UNDP أو برنامج الأمم المتحدة الإنمائي، ماذا يعني لكم هذا التكريم وهذه المسؤولية التي أخذتوها على عاتقكم على مدى سنوات؟
المؤسسة أسست في 2007 بأمر سيدي صاحب السمو الشيخ محمد بن راشد آل مكتوم لخدمة العالمين العربي والإسلامي. وهو كل مبادراته للعرب، صحيح. لا يخص مبادرة واحدة لدولة الإمارات، ولكن كل مبادرة تبدأ من الإمارات وتنطلق لخدمة الوطن العربي. وهذه المؤسسة أسست على هذا الأساس، فانطلقت بتقارير المعرفة، وهي المؤسسة وتقريرها هذا هو الوحيد ما قبل ما يسمى الربيع العربي وبعد الربيع العربي. فالتقارير من أراد أن يعرف حجم الدمار الذي حصل في الوطن العربي ما قبل وما بعد ما يسمى الربيع العربي، فإنه ينظر
إلى المؤشرات
إلى هذه التقارير. لا،
تقارير
تقرير المعرفة العربي،
نعم.
لأنه سيدل على ما حصل. ثانيا، صناع القرار من أراد أن يصنع قرارا أو يتخذ قرارا بدون معلومة أو معرفة، ماذا سيكون حال القرار؟ ليست لديه معلومات، ليس لديه دراسة، ليس لديه أبحاث، فإنه سيتخذ مثل ما يقول زهير خبط عشواء، قرارا لا يدري ما هو سيكون تأثيراته، هل سيكون تأثيرا إيجابيا، هل سيكون تأثيرا سلبيا، هل سينفع الدولة، هل سيضر الدولة، لا يدري. لكن هذه التقارير وهذه المؤشرات هي خارطة الطريق له، تقول له هكذا أو لا. عندنا هنا موجود
We have here Dr. Ron, who is a member of the International ISO in Switzerland. He has also a session allocated for his interventions. We received him here and I wanted to visit him actually. We told him that we are in Cambridge University. I told him that I have a visit to the university. I'll step by you. I stepped by him and he was drinking coffee in the train station. I asked him, why why does he have the global knowledge index on his table? He told me literally, I thought he's going to discuss with me, yet he told me that wherever I go, I take this with me. I am a consultant to more than 25 countries across the world. Therefore, I used to actually work really hard to get the information. You, in fact, in the Mohammed bin Rashid Foundation, in one place, you gave me everything. I'm a senior citizen. I don't really use the internet. I like the printed documents. Therefore, I asked for my colleague to have printouts. He came here and he collected them, actually. So he told me this word, literally, that the global knowledge index is the best thing ever to happen. He said that literally. From a member of the International ISO, this is actually huge. He's also the founder of ISO, Knowledge ISO. So the fact that he told me that this index is the best to ever happen, that means that we in our institutions are actually working on an international level along with the UN to serve all of the decision makers across the world. Why do we have them as a knowledge partner? Because our foundation deserves to be the knowledge partner for the UN. Since they say that they have the biggest knowledge institution, I would believe that they are amongst the biggest. Our foundation is amongst the biggest to serve knowledge in the world, to actually finance, work really hard, and encourages everyone to use knowledge. Since, for example, as for the economic part, if I pass by a poor city or poor neighborhood in our Arab countries specifically, you know that we have all grown up in very humble homes, and the people before us used to live in tents. We used to live in tents. And the people even before us, they used to live in a very, very humble, simple homes. Afterwards, we are now living in the towers and homes that you see around us. This type of leap is not a petroleum leap, it's not an oil leap, it's a knowledge leap. What is happening in the UAE is a knowledge leap. People think it's because of the oil. So many other countries have oil way more than us. But what happened in the UAE, and I would like to reiterate this point, that it is a knowledge transformation on the correct foundation. Therefore, the UNDP chose, the United Nations chooses one partner. They chose our partner in 2019 to become the global knowledge partner to the UN, and that is something we are honored and proud of. Ever since we started to develop our work, so that forecasting the knowledge future, now a report is being issued, and of course this year's report is going to be issued with a Waterhouse of the UN about the skills of the future. It's going to be issued next year. And I will speak about this later. One important point mentioned by Dr. Jamal. And so, Mr. Khalid, when you spoke about pre and after the Arab Spring and how things have changed, I want to ask you about the Arab region in general is very diverse and comprehensive, yet undergoing or subject to a number of crises and wars, as we can see today. So how can the UNDP cover such diversity as well as coping with all of these rapid changes? Thank you very much for the question. In fact, that's a very important question. Since our Arab region, of course, that within the general framework of the UNDP is helping countries to achieve UN SDGs and the Agenda of 2023. That is the global goal, applicable to Arab countries as well as the rest of the world. But what I want to say in this context is that for Arab countries, the conflicts and armed crises as well as occupation has a great impact on sustainable human development and reaching the goals of the 2023 agenda or 2030 agenda. Let me give you an example. We can say here that in light of the war in Gaza, we as the Committee of the United Nations for East Asia, UNESCO, we wanted to record the impact of this war on the economic and social levels on Palestine. And we have deducted, based on very accurate information, that if this war continues, that is just an example of this report. If this war continues for 3 months, there will be a decline in the Palestinian GDP with a percentage of 12% on a yearly basis. This percentage have never been witnessed before in any other country across the world. That is, of course, in addition to the murder of people, the destruction of the infrastructure like hospitals and schools. Therefore, if we are looking at development in the Arab world, of course, we have so many other examples. If we exclude the Gulf countries, the situation in the Arab countries is not promising at all. You believe that they are not going to reach the sustainable development goals as aspired, and you will not have the expected results achievable. No, we're not be able not even reach it. There is a decline. We're not even making any progress. During the pandemic, for the first time in the Human Development Index issued by UNDP, there has been 6% decline in the region. Add to the pandemic, the economic crisis, the wars across the world, along with the fuel crisis, the financial global crisis, the food crisis. How can we even reach the goals, the SDGs? Unfortunately, it is going to be extremely difficult, if not impossible, for most of the countries in our region to reach such goals or achieve these goals. Are we, for example, going to try to re-evaluate such goals so that it will be more fitting or suitable to the current situation? The re-evaluation should happen through the General Assembly of the United Nations, because this agenda has been issued in 2015. Up until 2030, by 2030, we're going to have a pause by all the countries who ratified this agenda. So up until we reach 2030, we can achieve as much as possible. Some countries may get there to some of the SDGs. I just want to say something. I visited Morocco in last December. I visited Rabat and Casablanca. I haven't been there since 10 years. So after attending the Cisco meetings, I was actually shocked by the level of development achieved throughout the past 10 years in Morocco. How could you not visit Maghreb for 10 years? That's a long time not to visit such a beautiful country. Of course it is. I was extremely impressed by the size of development, by the change in the scenery and how Morocco has changed. I was extremely impressed by the generous funding for development. Even the Minister of Morocco yesterday spoke about this. It was a political will. It was a political decision for change. If Arab countries want to actually make change and make progress in the SDGs, we can, before 2030, make some change. Yes, of course, it's the political will and a clear vision of the future, as you have mentioned before. And hopefully, such crises and conflicts will end. And now we go to my most favorite subject, which is knowledge index. I always like to go through it page by page, country by country, and compare to this year's achievement by last year's, because it's actually an impressive and enjoyable work. Because as your friend from ISO said, Ron, that it's very helpful and beneficial for countries to know their exact location and ranking and what are the opportunities and where can we find room for improvement. Could you please give us a brief on the index? It's this year it has 133 countries. We have added another country, some countries left, but then the total number is 133. The number of Arab countries are 11 countries as for UNDP, and we've added Mauritania, which is, of course, a member of the Arab League, so there are 12 Arab countries this year. The global average for the knowledge index is 47.5. As for the Arab region, is 46.8. Someone might think that this is not that much of a difference between the world average and the Arab world average. I cannot really say for sure whether this difference is on a moral level or otherwise. The differences between countries is basically 1.5% from one country or the other, or 0.5% between country or the other. Therefore, I believe that we still need to work a little bit harder to bridge this gap. We have Switzerland as the first country, and they actually outbested USA because USA this year is the 5th country across the world. The differences between countries in the indexes has actually been different this year. You have Switzerland ranking number 1, Holland 4th, Finland 3, and USA is 5th. The first in the Arab countries is UAE, then Qatar, then Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, and then Bahrain. It's whoever reads the index should notice that the last 15 countries in the index are African countries. And that is unfortunate. That it shows, of course, the gap. The knowledge gap between countries, and that these countries need such summits, need such experiences and initiatives so that we can transfer the successful experiences to them. Countries can never make progress alone. We need to help such countries. Who can help such countries? Are they the countries in the northern globe? European countries? I think it should be played by the African Union in collaboration with international organizations, for example, UNDP, international, also working with knowledge institutions like MBRF, because it is their word, because it is their role. We need to transfer knowledge, otherwise we'll have continuous conflicts, continuous wars, and that will be exported to other countries. Therefore, we need to work on bridging this gap, which is expanding between different countries. Thank you. I'll come back to you regarding the outcome of the index, because it's extremely important. Your Excellency, Mr. Jamal, I have read that the top countries in the index are actually UAE, I'm talking about the Arab countries, is UAE, Qatar, then Saudi Arabia. Qatar is 39, UAE is 40, and we have Tunisia at 81 countries, they're ranking 81, and it's the first from the non-Gulf countries. In Tunisia, could you please explain more? In Tunisia, before the Arab Spring, I used to visit the academia professionals there. I used to visit Tunisia every 3 months due to a lot of cooperation between us and them. And I've seen actually the budget allocated for education and research and development. And of course, Tunisia is very well reputed in the field of knowledge and education. In the beginning of 2017, they ranked, I don't think it was in the 80s, no, it was before that, or it ranked higher than 80s. I personally contacted my colleagues and friends from the academia. Some of them retired, some of them left Tunisia and went to Europe. They left the country. That shows that there is some sort of turbulence in the field of education and knowledge. Yet, Tunisia is a education and scientific country to the core. I used to learn from my colleagues. They have worldwide renowned papers. Their sightings are viewed globally. What happened? It's not just a decline in education, but in so many other fields. So my question is, we know that that Gulf countries are ranking first than the rest of the Arab countries. So is it due to the power of the money or something else? Because we know that this index has 7 criteria. We're talking about pre-college, vocational training, higher education, technology and communications, R&D, economy, as well as a sub-indicator regarding the environment. If we go back to the 70s, who was on top? It was Egypt, Tunisia, Lebanon, Morocco. These were the countries would have been top ranking in the index during the 70s. I go back to saying it's all going back to the proper strategies. The Gulf countries, the GCC, they have a clear educational strategy, as well as the budgets allocated for the infrastructure is huge. Of course, we salute Kingdom of Saudi Arabia for such huge achievements and the leap in all of the indexes across the globe. Of course, Qatar, they have a lot of finance for education, for infrastructure, as well as Kuwait, Bahrain, and Oman. In these countries, there has been a decision taken. The GCC is not just to hold sessions and assemblies. It's about education, cooperation, information cooperation in all various fields and sectors. That, of course, led us to reach where we are now. And we hope that all of the Arab countries would improve. I'm very disappointed, not disappointed, but I'm very disheartened that we have only 12 Arab countries. That means that we have over 10 countries that are not present in the index. That is very unfortunate. I believe that a huge part of us is missing. We've actually worked really hard to have Iraq part of the index. They actually were in it 1 year and then they left. That is an issue. Who is not present in the index this year from the Arab countries? They refuse to be part of the index. There's nothing to be present. We have Lebanon, Iraq, Sudan, Libya, Yemen, Somalia, Djibouti, Comoros. Syria is out of the index. Iraq was in and then out. Unfortunately, such countries, we provide them with a greater or a bigger view on what they are missing and how can they make things better. Unfortunately, they weren't able to join. I'm not just talking about whether this country is going through a crisis or not. It's a will. It's a will from the decision makers. For example, we have Palestine in the index, participating in the index, despite what they're going through. And another information here, Palestine ranks 40 in the education indicator or standards. Therefore, we can see that for them, education is a matter of life and death. They were able to develop with the very, very limited resources available. So it's not about wars, it's not about crises, it's not about anything. It's basically about a strong will to be part of the knowledge map. That's a very important point. I was going to mention this point when I followed the report that you have mentioned, Dr. Hani.
Palestinian Authority has a very interesting ranking. Although it is going through a war, it's not a country that the occupied territory doesn't represent a state. Nevertheless, it has better ranking compared to other countries. Can you explain that in addition to what Mr. Hani highlighted? I have a very simple explanation. There has to be a will. There has to be a political will for the governments to get to that index. I will give you an example based on what the speakers highlighted. Education is very crucial. Education is one of the pillars of the knowledge. We have two knowledge before the university and the university and the vocational training. Let's take South Korea, for instance. and East South Asia. Those countries didn't have money. They didn't have even natural resources. They have nothing. Even Japan. Japan was absolutely devastated after the Second World War, but everything is based on education. They educated the young generation. They invested in training and education. And we could see the outcomes. We could see the results. They have become very advanced countries, Singapore and other countries. And the tigers, the Asian tigers that they're so the political will, even without resources, as long as you have a political will, then the political will plays a role, and the proper planning and anti-corruption, fighting corruption. Corruption is a disease, a plague. Many decisions, but there are many trajectories, but they have to be in parallel, but mainly is the decision or the political decision. Mr. Jamal, we will go to the initiative that I liked a lot, which is initiative about the future initiative, which is you worked in collaboration with the UNDP, and you have a company, Coursera. Let's introduce this initiative, and I can give you my point of view. This was very it came in time, very good time. In 2017, here in the Knowledge Summit, we prepared. We warned that because we don't have enough budget for the research and development, we warned that the world won't be prepared for any disaster in the future. In 2018, though, in the same day, in this session, we warned and confirmed, reiterated that the world is not prepared. And we have it on the YouTube. You could go back as a reference, because we realize there is a huge gap in terms of research and development. And today, we are warning. We are warning from other point of view. The certificates in the future will be absolutely worthless. We'll look at the skills. People will look at the skills. And this is, I've heard this from experts. Universe won't vanish. Universe will remain. But I'm talking about the market, the job opportunities. The one who doesn't have skills, he won't find a job. Therefore, we started in the first experiment in 6,000 license, and we've chosen the UN. We've chosen Coursera because it's one of the best companies that we've dealt with, and it translated most of the courses to Arabic. And this is an experiment that it will be implemented in 9 countries, including the UAE. We have 1,000 licenses here, and the remaining license will be distributed in Egypt, Morocco, and Tunisia. Tunisia on board, yes. And this is an experiment. However, before that, we need to warn that each and every Arab nation, they shouldn't think certificate is enough. Each young Arab people, each young Arab man, if you are in your first work journey, they should not think that a certificate is enough. Don't see the MC or PhD is enough or sufficient. You should seek skills, because companies and institutions and everything you see in the coming years will demand skills. And in this summit, in this knowledge summit, as I warned in the 2017, I'm warning everyone, each and every young people in the Arab world, particularly in the Arabic world, young people, you need to be equipped with skills. Mr. Khalid, 30% of 32% of the young people, 32% of the Arab population is young. This is inaccurate. This is not correct. It depends on the age. How do you define the young people? 15 to how do you define the young? To 15 to 35, in our appreciation, is above 50%. Above 50%. So from what age to what age? From 15 to 29. In Egypt, 70% young people in Egypt. In Egypt, which is 100 million. This gives weight to the young people and the importance for those young people to equip themselves with those skills. Mr. Jamal, certificates are not enough, and PhD and high school. To what extent you think that this initiative, how come young people equip or utilize this initiative? Certainly, we need to give young people, young Arab people, a hope. Instead of going to the sea and swim to the Europe and to risk his life, we need to give them a hope in their own country. It's very difficult for someone to leave his own country. Young people leave their country because they are compelled to do so. But what we are trying to do now, in collaboration with the institution, is to give a hope for the young people for the future. And the issue of this issue, equipping young people with skills, is part of this initiative, where we work with MBRF. So without a goal, without a target, without a decent work, it will be difficult to convince young people to remain in their own countries. And without young people, we can't achieve development. If those young people are leaving, how can we build our country? Those young people who are leaving are people who are qualified, and therefore they can make a change in their country. If this continues, if this young people continue leaving their country, this will represent a major disaster. Dr. Hani, let's stick to this initiative. We have 3 languages for this initiative, especially people or young people in the north of Africa. We have Arabic, French, and English. So you are targeting 1 million trainees. The 9 countries are the UAE, Saudi Arabia, Jordan, Lebanon, Iraq, Egypt, Tunis, Algeria, Morocco, and hopefully in the future we can include all Arab countries, even Arab from outside the Arabic world. To evaluate our experiment, then we will take that decision. Hopefully, through the MBRF, and also in collaboration with the UNDP, we seeking to establish an alliances where we can fund all those people. This initiative is targeting young people, but we care about 6 categories: the new graduates, and unemployment, and unemployed people, graduates from the vocational training, and pioneers, entrepreneurs. So we have 11 domains. We have 85 programs. We've spent a year making studies on the training courses online. We realized that the rate of completing those training courses, they doesn't exceed 12%, and it's less when those training courses are free, because people who enters this training course is not motivated to continue. The second point is when the student takes online training course and isolation separately, mostly won't complete the training course, because the first time he joined a training course, he has his own different goals. So when he realizes that he hasn't learned what he was expecting or what he had expecting, he won't be motivated to continue. So we are not providing training courses. We are providing a comprehensive training program to to provide training. For instance, I'm an accountant and I want to improve my skills as an accountant. So what I do, upscaling your accounting skills. So for an accountant, you can become an expert in a data analysis where I give you a course for like 9 months. The program consists of 10 training courses for a certain period of time. Each and every course in this program, a student gets a certificate from the university. When the student completes the program, will have a comprehensive certificate from the UNDP and from MBRF, and he will have IBM, Google, that he's a professional AI or a coder. We give him a bunch of certificates that indicates, those certificates indicate that he owns or he has the skills, and he will be tested, and he has to provide a project within this training course to make sure that he really benefited from those knowledge we gave, and that we don't want to fool them. We don't just to give them just knowledge with certificates. We need to make sure that he is truly acquired the skills, and he will be able to find the job not only in the UAE but anywhere. For instance, in Egypt we have 11 million local people. We cannot provide job opportunities for all that number of people. So we give better skills for the Egyptian people to work in Egypt and outside. Even in Egypt. So we are trying to help countries to eliminate the unemployment. This is an amazing initiative. This is the team that runs this initiative, follows up the acquisition. So anyone who is training, anyone who hasn't completed the training course should be replaced, and they are keeping an eye on those students the number of completion should be 12. 12 is nothing. Especially for the free education, it goes down. So we put forward some terms and conditions. For someone who hasn't completed the course should be replaced. We negotiated with Coursera that this is not compulsory. License is for 1 year. If the program lasts for 3 months, we have the right after 3 months, we can utilize it again and again. We can use it more than once. And in the event that a student is not serious, we can replace that student. Even within the program, we follow up with the students to make sure to see the progress they achieve. And we collaborated in Egypt with the higher education department. The Ministry of Health, they provide us with the young people facilities. So I invite everyone. We have a platform knowledge program where the young people can register and get to know about the initiative, and it's absolutely free. I'm very motivated to take part as well. In the next stage, we will have 1 million certificate or license. Mr. Jamal, since you mentioned IS Code, you have so many initiatives and you took part in so many activities in the book, but you have held a meeting with the ISISCO. What are these meetings outcomes? We've held meetings for 3 days in December with Dr. Salim and Malik, Dr. Asali, and all representatives of the 54 Islamic countries. We have 17 countries. How many? In the 17 countries that they are not within the index. We asked everyone to collaborate to incorporate the 17 Islamic countries within the index. Second, to alleviate the level of knowledge in the International Knowledge Index by talking directly to those entities and whoever incorporates data and changing their strategies pertaining to knowledge to get to the highest level possible. And in 15 January, we have a meeting in Riyadh in Saudi Arabia to complete our discussion. Many initiatives. This collaboration is very important. Now let me ask you, Mr. Khalid, what is the future of your collaboration with the MBRF? this collaboration that we celebrated for having 15 years, along with the meeting of the UN meetings in New York, we are very proud of this collaboration with the MBRF because, first of all, it covers a very critical element, which is the knowledge index is the only index that addresses knowledge. Second, it's a dynamic collaboration. It doesn't stop anywhere. So we started in the Arabic knowledge report, the Arab knowledge index, and we moved to the international knowledge index. Now we have the initiative about the skills, and we have a new initiatives for the economics to support Arab countries in the economical transformation that was launched yesterday by some experts in economy, and Arab experts in economy, who will work with all Arabic countries to help them with regard to the economical transformation. This is a new initiative, and we will have more and more initiatives in the future. This collaboration is absolutely endless, and it will evolve and evolve as we progress, as the time passes. And we are quite proud of this collaboration, and we hope that to invite more collaborations, particularly for the skills initiative, especially the skills initiative. Inviting economics are important. Now, Mr. Hani, you can wrap up. What is a message? Once you completed this knowledge index, you will have the papers on you to send it to send it to Ram. Do you have a message that, after everything that you have done, do you have a message to everyone? First of all, I would like to thank the knowledge team who worked diligently on this index, and what has been talked about, what has been said about the dynamic of the team. The credit goes to the team. The credit goes to the team. There are new teams, there are new ideas. I hope that we will shoulder this responsibility and will be able to improve the team. My message to the Arabic countries that those indexes are not there to punish you. They are there to help Arab countries and to help you and assist you to improve. Our target is that the indexes target is to share successful experiments between the Arab countries and abroad. Our target is to improve and develop the skills of the Arab people. We are not doing theory only. We work in the ground. We deal with people and young people. I hope the Arab countries help us to provide data and not to be concerned about lack of data, because this will pave the way for achieving the goals of sustainable development goals. The other issue, we are very proud of our collaboration with the UN. MBRF has a collaboration with collaborates with Oxford, with Cambridge, collaborates with NAGU in Germany, many different institutions, and USCD. The MBRF collaborates with so many international institutions. The MBRF collaborates with them and works with them. Whoever wants to know about MBRF, in the last of this whole, there are the projects that we have achieved and the initiatives of MBRF. Those initiatives will not end, will not finish. We will continue with the directions of the head of the MBRF, Her Highness Sheikh Latifa Al Maktoum. We continue on that.
God willing, with your presence in this summit and the future summits, we will be able to launch all of these initiatives as well as measure the outcomes, because the initiative on its own is not complete without measuring the outcomes. We have launched, for example, an initiative in 2013 It was the Dubai International Program for Writing. It started in the UAE, and now it's applicable in Kuwait, Egypt, Tunisia, and Morocco. After 10 years from the launching of this initiative, we have more than 340 writers, female and male, and we have also sold for over 200 writers of them, and some of them actually were awarded the Zayed Book Award. And in Tunisia, for example, one of the teachers was talking to me and says that this is a senior citizen because we accredit those who are below 30 years old, but they said that this individual, this writer, is above 30 years old. Can he enter the program? And I allowed him to enter the program, and he was awarded the Tunisia Book Award. That is because we always seek to have books published based on proper scientific methodologies. And of course, this specific initiative has more than 340 writers. That is, of course, in addition to the Arab Knowledge Index and Arab Reading Index, the Global Knowledge Index, throughout the 7 editions, up until the report of forecasting the knowledge future in 20 countries and then moving on to 40 countries. Now the future skills supporting the economic policies in the Arab countries. All of these are initiatives working in the benefit of the Arab world, in addition to cooperation with CISCO to serve the Islamic countries as well. We work directly with ministries in Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and MBRF. Throughout last year, we have signed with MISC a exchange of agreement agreement in Riyadh. We have a number of projects and initiatives, all to serve the Arab world and serve the people. We don't want leadership, we don't want reputation, we don't want anything. His Highness Sheikh Mohammed is doing a great effort to serve everyone. All that he really wants is to see this Arab world amongst the developed countries. And that is what we all want in the end, by the end of the day, because once the Arab countries are developed, the financial status of their peoples are better. Their cities are going to be knowledge cities. And that is what we aspire to achieve and seek to make a reality. God willing, we will have more and more knowledge cities. We start from here, from the foundation in Dubai, up until the rest of the Arab countries and the world, to see them as, see the Arab countries as we wish and hope to achieve. Thank you very much, Your Excellency Jamal, Dr. Khalid, and Dr. Hani for being here with us in this very fruitful session, and for your attention, our dear guests. Thank you very much.